Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Goodell?
Here.
Slater?
Here.
Baumgarten?
Here.
Rusher?
Here.
Hader?
Here. We need a motion to approve the agenda as printed. Moved. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we need a motion to approve the minutes of the June 3rd, 2013 regular council meeting, the June 7th, 2013 special council meeting.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we need a motion to approve the May treasurer's report.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under communications, anything from the public in attendance this evening?
Yes. My name is Candace Carlson, and you have a letter from me at your spot there, but I'll read the letter out loud for the general public. I would like to propose that a stop sign be installed at the south exit of the Aquatic Center parking lot. It's a one-way drive, and you do enter from the northeast corner of the property. Go south through the parking lot. You can drop your children or youth off at the entrance there to the Aquatic Center, and then continue a little bit further south, and there's parking on the east and the west side there in the lot. And then you have to exit south onto First Avenue South. There are already 2 poles there with signs that say "Do not enter." So as you're exiting, you just see the back side of them, but looking north, you can see the "Do not enter" signs. So you may be able to place the stop sign on those posts. However, it's on the south side of the parking, or south side of the sidewalk, so I don't know if that would be a safe place for it, or if you have to stop so many feet away from a stop sign so that the children walking on the sidewalk, so you wouldn't be stopping right on the sidewalk. I don't know about that. You'd have to check the feet recommendations on that. But I have witnessed several times where people do not stop at all, or don't even yield to children who are walking there on the sidewalks. It's a real congested spot, however. There's angle parking on First Avenue South in that block, and then there's parallel parking across the street on the south side of First Avenue South there. Plus, it's just a few feet from the corner of First Avenue South and 3rd Street South, which is a 4-way stop sign. So people don't yield coming out, and it's just a real problem there. So I really feel that a study should be made to have a stop sign there. And then when I was thinking about this, I wondered what happened to all of the bike route signs. They were taken down from the old pool when we stopped that and built the new aquatic center. And there was a plan, at one time I was on the committee of the aquatic center, the new aquatic center, so there was a plan on bike route to safely get the children there. But none of the signs were put up, so they must be in the shed somewhere.
Leroy had said that they were getting pulled out by the residents who didn't want to weed whack around the signs, so that's kind of
Well,
what happened.
that's something that, the streets department can think about, but I know that it would not be a new purchase because there's already a lot of the blue rectangular signs. And then also, I was just now thinking, there are a lot of people that cross, a lot of children and youth who cross at the corner of Sumner Avenue and the Frank Gotch Boulevard, and they go across the street, run across the street there to go to the new Arts Council building. It's right even with the Arts Council building. There's no white walking path, the white signs to walk there, but they run across the street. Now that's a really busy intersection with people coming across the bridge and everything. And I think that, we should suggest that people cross at 8th Street and Sumner Avenue and then walk the block on the south side to go to the Arts Center. But when you're looking at the plans for the bridge, perhaps you'll be thinking of a safe crossing place there at that corner. So that's just for future knowledge, but please consider a stop sign there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
brought that up before about the children crossing down there at the end of the bridge. They dart out there at the end and you can't see them.
Well, there is no white lines or anything, so.
No.
Used to be.
Well, don't you have to stop to get on the street? I mean, with like a speed bump, or like a series of 8 speed bumps all the way along there? I mean, these are kids at the swimming pool, right? You know, this is,
Well, legally, you're always supposed to stop for you enter an intersection anyway. so
uh-huh.
Legally.
I mean, almost like a speed bump, or, you know, if it tears your tires up, if you go the wrong way or something. I mean, one of those things that just get somebody's attention. This is our kids at the swimming pool.
Just look at a stop sign or whatever, I guess, you know, I guess you can look
Mhm.
at that and
You want-
make a recommendation to the council at the next meeting.
Okay, I'll bring something back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else from the public? If not, Clint, do our people service monthly report.
Everything's going great. They're moving right along at the water plant. IPT's installed I think, 2 high service pumps inside the chlorine contact chamber so far. And we did discover up, actually the painters on the roof, there's a valve that goes, some piping that goes from the well side over on the roof, goes down into the spring side in the event we need to pull from the well to the spring. And the pipe on the north side of the little hen house up there, actually you could take your fingers and poke through the bottom of it for about 3 feet. It's completely rusted out. So I think we did a change order and we've got that replaced, and they're in the process of getting that up there. I think they were waiting on a spool yet. And so I got thinking too, there's 2 valves up there. They're 64, 68 years old, never been opened. So we thought, well, as long as everything's tore apart, we'll just put 2 new valves into and then have it done, so. But they've got, I think, part of the piping up there, and I think they may be waiting on the valves yet to come from their supplier. So they're, up there, they got that done, and they did, get the, I think it was 4 weeks ago, they got the lime slurry tank. It's got these, well, they're not really paddles, they're 2 big pipes that keep the lime stirred up so we can pull it out. And one of those paddles actually just broke off. And of course it threw a monkey wrench and everything and blew some fuses, but we drained it out, and IPT actually fixed that. And it just corroded off. It just, from that corrosive environment, it just literally just dropped off. So, but we got that back up and running, and in a short period of time. But they, let's see what else they just started today on the spring side. We got the well side up and running last week, kind of on and off, getting a few little bugs worked out. There's still a couple of the valves that are working but not quite up to par, but we think that was just from sitting for 6 months, 7 months, just idle, and they just need to be, just keep actuating and that. But they just did start on the spring side today, so hopefully we'll get that going. And the slaker, everything on the well side is working just great. We're starting to get our softness back to where it was, because we had to start over on everything with the lime blanket and everything, so. And the wastewater end, of course, as of, well, what was that, May 26, 27 Memorial Day weekend there, we had a little excess rain. We had to put out a couple pumps that night. We put them down on 11th Avenue South and 7th Street South. And the other one was up across from, by the,
Bicknell Park.
yeah, Bicknell Park there on that corner. And then one more was up on 11th Street, a small 3-inch pump. But they ran for a few hours, and then we started noticing at the north end, everything started settling down again. And that, so we had to do some, I had to do some figuring for some bypass, and then the EQ basin filled up in about 2 days out of the wastewater plant. So then that started going out the overflow there, and so I calculated roughly what we bypassed there. That mixes with the effluent, so. And I called the DNR, let them know, and Halsey said, well, you're not the only one in the state, so just make a report, send it in, and that, so. And then we're getting the west clarifier at the wastewater plant, ready to go for the painters that are doing the painting here. We're gonna get that, started getting that drained, and they're gonna prep it, and they're gonna actually sandblast it and paint it. And we got some top gears replaced, in there that were wearing out. They replaced those, some bearings, and we're gonna probably have to at one time, they haven't got any numbers back to me yet, but there's a big set of bearings that the bridge sits on, and that rotates that whole clarifier real slow, the top and bottom seats, and those are starting to wear out, and that's gonna probably involve a crane to pick off the catwalk. I'm waiting, like I said, for some numbers for them. They recommend those about every 10, 11 years, so we're a little overdue on replacing those, so.
Which ones did we work on a couple years ago, Clint? There, the big gears and stuff there that turned out were in pretty good shape.
There's a set of gears on the top. It's it's a small electric motor and a worm gear that drives the other ones and breaks it down, reduces it down, and that top ones, we replaced those, and I did get one extra one for that, so we do have a backup one for that, so. But, other than that, we have just one small main break on the south part of town last week. It was just on a 2-inch galvanized, and it was only, I think Marty measured it, it was 3.5 feet under the ground. We're right at 4 feet. But it was just a weird deal they had. It looked like when they installed it, somebody had put a big piece of limestone rock to bridge it up. And it just, that's with the ground moving, it just eventually just wore a spot in that and it just snapped, but it got a repair clamp on it, no problem, so that one went pretty good, so. Any questions, comments, or?
How's the valve exercising program going?
Oh, yeah, that's right, good. We did get our valve exerciser from Nebraska, and that's going really good there. The guys were hitting all the projects first that we had, valve replacement, hydrant replacement, making sure that, and they're up to the water tower. They got the old water tower, they got those all broke loose and that, and now they're just headed out in the system, and they're gonna do everything in town. I just told them to go out and just do everything, so, and they're keeping track of that, so that's gonna work out real good. I think that saved us already on a couple main breaks.
It sounded like it, yeah.
Yep, so, but no, we're gonna try and get the whole town done this year, so.
Good.
Mhm.
What is our goal for the water plant? End of this year, middle of next year? What, do we have a goal?
Jones, they're reporting, what, the end of January, early February
Sometime
is
in
the
there.
completion time. Obviously, that's contingent upon several factors. But that's what, if you look at their plan, it was originally the beginning of January to finalize out the project. And I think now, due to controls and some
Yeah.
other issues.
Yeah, they're waiting on some of the controls from automatic systems.
Yeah.
So, which of course that puts the new water tower kind of on a hold too, because they gotta get the controls hooked up for both of them to communicate. So they're kind of waiting on that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's delayed the water tower project, it's delayed the water plant, because
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of the stuff's been hooked up, but there's no controls to run it, so.
No, we're just still running manual.
Yeah.
Is what we're doing, so. Okay, thank you.
Hey, Clint.
Yep.
Clint, one
Sure,
thing,
Joe.
maybe older guys who've been on the council longer, I should say. Nice save. Elmhurst Avenue, it seems like those sump pumps just run like days and days after a rain. Has that always been like that? Is that just,
Pretty wet up in there.
Yeah, that's,
Off that field there, that's.
yeah,
Is that what it
that's, yeah, they run a long time.
okay,
Yeah.
nobody's complained, but I just, noticed it.
It runs a lot.
I talked with, there's, I don't know which part of Elmhurst you're talking about, the beginning part where it comes back off
Be sure
of
when-
169, or way further back where it comes in, where it kind of makes the bend to the north there. But we've had complaints from both sides, or from
Okay.
both, where it's next to 169 and back on where it turns north. And the situation, I talked with Rick Hopper a little bit about this, because he's the one who actually knows the most about drainage. I talked to him and he said, well, they have to accept the water, and the problem was the houses were put in the natural path for that water. And he said, and he said it's kind of a situation where that owner has to accept that water coming onto the land, so it's a tough situation. And we provide the hook-ins for the street. I mean, you get the intakes, and so if the water can get to the street, then it could use the storm sewer, but the problem is getting it to the street.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yep.
All right, this evening we have Dawn Doer with Community Family Resources here to give us an update this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to take a little bit of your time and let you know what Community and Family Resources is doing in the county and in the community of Humboldt. There's several sheets in the packet I've given you. I want to draw your attention to the blue one. And this is some important statistics from the most recent Iowa Youth Survey. Most underage drinking takes place in private settings such as homes, and that's why we are promoting both a look at underage drinking and specifically at social hosting laws. The 2012 Iowa Youth Survey data showed that 28% of 11th graders reported binge drinking within the last 30 days. That compares to only 19% statewide.
Could you just a quick question, and I read this in the paper, so
Yep.
describe what binge drinking is.
Binge drinking is drinking specifically to get drunk. It's consuming large amounts of alcohol in a small amount of time.
Okay.
12% of all students report binge drinking at all, which is compared to 8% of students statewide. So we know we have a problem in this area. And it's not just Humboldt, it is the wider north central Iowa area. But also in your packet, hopefully the next one back, is a sample ordinance of a social host ordinance. A social host ordinance is basically laws enacted by cities, counties, or at other levels that says it is illegal to serve minors alcohol within your home. It puts back on homeowners the responsibility for that underage drinking. Also, next is a map that has counties, cities that have either enacted social host laws or in the planning process.